What are we looking at? This is what's known as the Falle-Safe pick set. I've had this for about 15 years now, and it was really cool set at the time because this was one of the first pick sets that I remember seeing that was more geared toward professionals, whereas some of the other ones felt relatively cheap and generic, lots of double and triple pick sets or various rakes within the kit, whereas this kit seemed a lot more elaborate. This is just like a nylon case, folds out. Inside are an array of mostly hooks, and there was actually another part to this kit. I took it out. I think it was a decoder for a lever lock. It stuck out too far, so I took it out. Really what fascinated me about this kit, of course, were the tensioners. That it's just a really cool design. Before this, I've never seen anything like it. Whereas there's different sizes and there's different widths of the tensioners, and they're adjustable. And you can orient them to however the lock is oriented. So if you want the wide portion on the bottom or the wide portion on the top to tension the lock. Very cool design. With that, there are also these non-adjustable kind of set versions of that. Same thing. They're marked, there's like a number scale of what size for what lock. I played with this for a little while. It was more of just a collector's piece for me. Because when I got it and I started using them, they did feel a little cheap. They were pricey. I think I paid $200 US shipped at the time. It was a company in the UK that was selling this. And I did use them, but they felt relatively rough. Like, for instance, the hook picks. They're just stamped out of metal. I don't even know what kind of metal, and it feels like it's coated with some kind of a nickel. That's my guess. And you could even see like the stamp marks. They could be, of course, sanded down, but it was a different set at the time, and I really like how they branded the name. That does feel like it was well done. They were good quality stamping. But again, the tension wrenches are what interested me, because they can fit inside a lock really nice. But there's kind of a catch. So let's see. Oh, that fits so nice. It's kind of hard. I find it hard. Unless I have two hands free, I can't really use this type of a tensioner and pick the lock. I think it's easier if I have one hand, working the tension arm down here, and the other hand working the pick. And this type of tensioner works great for a lock that's flat, like this. And if you have a lock like this, obviously it's going to be a problem. It doesn't quite reach inside. So these fancy tensioners are all of a sudden kind of useless. And then, let's see, there's like a 5200. Again, the lock cylinder is kind of recessed, so these aren't going to reach very well. And it just kind of negates this whole set of really nice tension wrenches. But it does come with the standard little L-shape tension wrenches, which many different sizes, and but they felt really cheap to me. They don't feel that high quality. Lots of different sizes, but they're all kind of short. I like a little bit more length on the tension wrenches. Another interesting part of this kit were the hook picks. Hook picks, I've never seen any other kit other than this one have hook picks like this. They do work, but they're a little flimsy, so if you were picking a lock, you really want to brace the pick itself. Because if you go in the lock, I'm just going to demonstrate, I'm not going to open this, but you really have to put a lot of upward pressure on this back piece, otherwise you risk bending the tool. They do work. I have picked several locks with them, but I found more luck with just, my Peterson set. But this was a really cool kind of novelty. Again, this was the first set that I've seen that was more geared for professional type locksmiths. And yeah, it was just real interesting. Another part of this kit that it stood out to me were the quality of the rakes. These rakes seem to be very well cut and much different than most profiles that you find with Peterson, HPC, Southward. These actually seem to resemble more like keys. See that? And I found interesting also that tool that came out with the credit card pick set copied pretty much exactly one of the rakes in this kit. It's the one that pretty much is a low, high, low type profile. And so, I mean, that really says a lot to this profile because it must be effective. They wouldn't just use any run-of-the-mill type rake. So this was a really thought out kit. And it was designed by John Fall, which I believe is a security professional who's designed many different types of decoding tools, opening tools for safes and various locks. I think a lot of his tools are more geared toward government use, but this was one of the only pick sets that I saw that were available for purchase that were designed by him. And at the time, this was 2004-ish. Lockpicking as a sport, as a hobby, wasn't as big as it is today. You didn't have companies like Sparrows and all these other manufacturers making picks. There was only a handful. And this was one that was really a professional type set. And yeah, again, I don't really use it that much. It's more of just a collector's piece. I have more luck with the Petersons and even some of the other sets that I have that I might show. But yeah, if you could find one of these sets, go ahead and grab it if you're into lock sport. It's fun to try different picks, different tools. It might work really well for you, it might not. And these are really cool though. I really do recommend these. If you could find a set, these have been very useful. The Falle-Safe pick set.